academic staff, if they want to visit for or some research visit, for research collaboration or some research projects, and to see that how it's being taught, like how to engage students in the industry and what are the courses. So how that works for academic staff. So this is from the student.
Yeah, that's the student's perspective. So if you wanted to come, you're always welcome, of course, and we can organize something. We have a structured program, that's the guest lecture program I came up with 1.5 years ago. You can come to OTH and teach a course. We pay for the teaching, 2,000 euros, and we pay for travel and accommodation. How does this work? You teach a course worth 10 New Zealand credits. 10 New Zealand credits are approximately 5 European credits. That's a workload of 100 to 130 hours from our perspective. You teach in English. You can choose a paper topic more or less freely. Main requirement would be that we do not have any overlap to existing courses. Because for our students it would be a paper like any paper else and we can't credit them twice. So usually kind of special topics work best. For our students it would be an elective. And the idea is that you take a paper you would teach at Unitec, brought it to Germany and deliver it the same way with the same content like you would here at Unitec. So no new preparation is necessary or adaptation. You will have bachelor students, second or third year of study. We can accommodate almost any topic ranging from business management topics, which would be pertinent to our business IT students, to technical IT, mathematics, and anything in between. I will show you later on what previous guest lecturers have taught. We could expect 10 to 20 motivated students. For ours, it would be an elective, and you would primarily have German students. We are culturally very homogeneous. So if you taught this course, 90% of your students would be white, male, German. Yeah, so we really have a diversity problem, if you ask me. How such a course would consist of 28 times 90 minutes teaching. That's how we break down those 5 European credit points. And what we usually do is that we say to the guests, okay, 50 to 60% of this 28 minutes, please deliver those on site in Regensburg. And the remaining 40 to 50%, you do some sort of blended learning. Video lectures, pre-recorded lectures, readings, project work. Usually those 50 to 60% on-site are being done within 2 weeks, but you can stay up to 90 days. That's the visa regulation. Usually 2 to 3 weeks work best, and that results in approximately 130 minutes of lecturing, assuming a 5 days work week. And it would be a lecture, so it's not a talk where you just pop in, deliver something, and you pop out. You really need to do a performance assessment, project, seminar, paper, assignment, and you have to produce grades because those grades will show up on the grade report of our students. So that's one idea of getting something going, and once you are here, I mean, there are multiple benefits to this. So you learn, or you see a different teaching environment which is completely different to New Zealand. So we teach very traditional. Professor comes in, talks for 90 minutes, nobody asks questions, and then you leave the room. So it's really, I mean, different, and you get in touch with colleagues, so you can build your professional network, you can visit our research institutes in 2 weeks. Our students are exposed to a different way of teaching and learning, which is good for them. They do not want or cannot leave the country, so they get a bit of an international perspective. Yeah, it's also good from an institutional perspective, so you get in touch, also on staff level, not only on an administration level.
So what's your typical uptake? How many exchange guest lectures do you actually
So
get?
we have capacity in winter for 3, and in winter you will probably have third-year students most likely, and in summer we have capacity for 5 guests, and in summer you most likely will have second-year students.
And that class, it can start like not in the traditional semester, but it can be a block course.
Yeah.
Depending, like suppose there is a Christmas break or that summer break from December till February, then a lecturer from here, they can visit over there.
Yeah, December to February would not be so good. So in winter we are talking about October, November, that would be best.
Okay.
And in summer we are talking April, May. In theory our semester is until mid-February, yes, but we have exams the last 3 weeks, so last 2 weeks in January, first week in February, and the closer it goes to the exam period, the more nervous the students get and the less likely it is that they can bear a 2 weeks block course. So we're talking April, May, and October, November, basically.
So the lecturerships or the staff involvement with the student, that could range from 2 to 3 weeks, and then the rest of, if they're in assessment or grades, you can just give them, and then that can be 1 month time, and the students put their grades or submit their art whatever reports are, and you can mark that from your home country.
Right.
Okay.
You only have to make sure as a lecturer that the student are being kept busy for 100 to 130 hours, somehow including this lecture time. And that would be, so yes, what most gives you an impression. So this is sample schedule week 1, week 2, let's say those are the last 2 weeks in April. You come, that's Monday to Saturday, we start at 8:15 in the morning, we finish at 8:15 in the evening. Since we are short of rooms and since there are other papers going on, you would probably teach in the evening, so those black spots are 90 minutes lecture. So we teach in the evening from, let's say, 6 to 8. Or from 3 to 8 on Tuesday. You will have the rest of the day off, maybe a Wednesday off, but it will also involve Friday and Saturday. I can provide office space, so you can work during the day or use the time to explore. So I've had guest lecturers who did even not take time off 2 weeks, but just worked remotely from Regensburg and deliver their teaching in the afternoon or evening. And then, so those are 16 times 90 minutes, so that's more the 60% on-site thing. And then you would have plus 12 weekly blended learning sessions, and they were scheduled in for Thursday evening here. But you are not bound to this time. I mean, you can do, as you said, assignments, project work, and you look after the students through a forum, so asynchronous, that's also possible. And assuming that you came the last 2 weeks in April, you could give your students something to read or do a preparatory assignment that is worth 10-20% of the grades, so that you have a certain foundation to build upon once you arrive end of April. And that's how most of our lecturers do a kind of preparatory assignment. Then they are there, maybe they do a kind of end of 2 weeks assignment around here, a little presentation worth 10-20% of the grades, and then the remaining 50 to 70% of the grade, one final assignment.
Do you use any student learning management systems like Moodle or Blackboard?
So we have a Moodle installation, we have Adobe Connect, so there are virtual teaching possibilities.
And how you will find out that there is any overlapping courses or anything? So you go to the website, and is it in English or in German?
Our website is primarily in German, so if you were interested, you just drop me an email with 5 lines describing the course, then I can give you first feedback. And if I'm unsure, I will talk to my colleagues, they will give me feedback, and so within 2 or 3 days we find out whether it more or less fits, and then we map it out in greater detail, and then we get it going. Okay, so who has contributed to this program so far? So we started 2015, we had Markus Close from Fitirea here, Auckland campus problem solving and decision making for IT, so that was more management course. We had Donald Davendra from Central Washington University, USA, doing evolutionary algorithms, so there are 2 parts of the spectrum, kind of very management business-like, very technical IT algorithms, so it was a heavy course. Joao doing machine learning from UNESCO in Brazil, David Skelton from EIT in New Zealand doing e-business strategy, Ben from Utah in Malaysia doing GPU computing, Laurent from France doing big data technologies, Carmini from Switzerland doing scientific computing with Python, Diane from Figueira Porua, so Wellington campus business analysis for IT, Petri from ALT doing strategy and control, and Abhijit from Kwantlen Polytechnic in Vancouver, Canada, doing wireless and mobile security, so more related to hardware.
So what specific majors you're offering, or they like in the IT sector? Is this machine learning or networking or information systems, or in your master's program?
What do you mean by measures?
Like what specific specialization you're offering, because IT is quite broad, so you're so which specific specialization?
The master replicates our bachelor degree program, so you have a master of computer science with a special focus in software engineering, or in business systems, or in medical IT, or in technical systems. And what do we offer? I mean, cloud computing course, modern software engineering. I have to look this up. I'm doing, for example, strategic IT management on postgraduate level, We have capstone projects, thesis work, of course, so one semester is full-time thesis work. Then we have a research methods course, that's what I'm teaching.
Why I asked, because I'm offering a course of software-defined networks at postgrad level, so I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I mean, just drop me a mail and we can discuss.
Somewhere in 2017, at the end of 2017.
So to give you an impression, to make this maybe more...
There's a long-term goal, but it's like after a year or... Provided that I get a relief from here.
Oh yeah, here's the boss, huh? Okay, so that's our computer science program in English. I'm enlarging a little bit. So here I compile all the papers we offer in English each and every semester. And if you go down, that's our summer term now coming up, which started in March and which will be finished in 2 weeks' time. So what did we offer? We had model database concepts, this kind of cloud computing course taught by Steffi. She used to work for Google in their R&D department. She's a full-time professor. Capstone projects, of course, high performance computing by my colleague Jan, Professor Dünnweber. That's OpenMP, parallel processing. The internship, of course, app development for smartphones. So yeah, it's a second, third year course where you just develop an app using Android. Writing computer science and research methods course on a bachelor level so that they know what they need to do when they do their bachelor thesis. Then the guest lecturers appear, so we had big data technologies from Laurent, business analysis from Diane, IT strategy control from Pattery, scientific computing, wireless and mobile security. And if you hit this link here, let's say descriptions from Diane, business analysis for IT, then you get a one-pager that basically tells you what this course is all about, objectives, content. So this would be something we aim for when we enter this email discussion, and yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, it's interesting. So your capstone is at postgraduate level? Do you do an undergraduate capstone as well?
Yeah, we call it practical seminar for reasons of communication. I label it capstone because otherwise international partners would not understand it. Yeah, but it's very small and it can be, so our master students are supposed to do 2 projects, 2 capstone projects worth 5 ECTS, 10 New Zealand dollars each, so 20 New Zealand credits in total. And yeah, it's more or less structured. They can basically do what you want them to do. They can develop something, produce a report, produce a documentation, do some practical stuff, set up an experiment. It's very up to you.
It's a one semester or?
That's one semester. So we have one in the first semester and the second semester. And often students do something careerly. So for example, I had a student now, or 2 students, they're developing a website or an online service for our buddy, international buddy program, where international students can register, then German students can register, and then there's a matchmaking algorithm based on characteristics, language, country you're from, gender, interests, and then those Germans or the international students receive their German buddies, and some reports and emails are being created so that the whole thing is being automated. And that was part of the capstone project.
Yeah, and what's the pipeline conversion from undergrad to postgrad? Because, and would I be right in concluding that for maximum employability, you really need to get the undergrad and the masters? It's a lock and key kind of approach.
I don't have the numbers, to be honest. I don't know. So we have we start in masters it fluctuates between 30 to 50 per semester. So we enroll each and every semester on the master's level, but I honestly do not know the amount of graduates, undergraduate, but we lose a lot. I would say we lose 50% of our undergraduate students do not continue with a master's degree, either because they start studying, or they just want to see a different institution, or they do their master's degree at a university to kind of, brush it up.
That makes sense, yeah, absolutely. But there's employability as an outcome of the undergrad as well, so it's...
We don't have capstone projects on undergraduate level. That doesn't exist. Yeah. And we are not engaged in any of those industry certifications. I don't know why, but we don't do any PMP or IT Foundation or Cisco or whatever. Yeah, so you saw the description. I can show you Diane's course on our Moodle platform, how she did it. So let's go here. You're far away from the rest of the world.
Tell us.
So that's the course Business Analysis for IT. Diane Strode from Fitireia Polytechnic was teaching. Here we are. Okay, so welcome to Business Analysis for IT, blah blah blah, that's your lecture, and so on and so on. And what Diane did, she did Adobe Connect sessions. So once a week we had a live Adobe Connect session and recorded those. So that's the lecture recording from March 23rd. And she came end of April, beginning of May, and was delivering using Adobe Connect, and sometimes she pre-recorded the lecture. And students were supposed to work through this and submit an assignment or short exercises in between just to make sure that they are working. How does this look like? Are you familiar with Adobe Connect?
Some use it. It's not used widely here, but there are some who tend to be, Blackboard Collaborate.
So it's basically a collaboration platform, so you will see her up here, her picture, and you see and hear her. You have the students enrolled, just their names, a chat window, and then here you see basically the slides. I don't know whether it will load or not. It's coming, Adobe Connect, we are connecting. And this worked well from New Zealand actually, so now in VPN, that's probably why it's so slow, but she was sitting in Wellington, it was early morning for her, late evening for us, and it really worked well. We had almost no time, kind of jitter or lag, it was really good. Yes, so let's see. Okay, here we are. Yeah, here, that's her. You see our students. We had 90 participants. This is the chat window. Now you hear her talking.
A quite short lecture on what is business.
So is it live or is
It was live, yeah. In this case, it was live. But you can also pre-record.
Action.
So this is basically how it works. Yeah, you see the slides.
Organization has to take to achieve their goals and objectives.
But it mustn't be in this format. So others just provide pre-reads and do forum discussion. It's up to you. But you have the full kind of freedom. As long as, I mean, we need to keep our students busy just to make the credits worthwhile. Yeah, so that's the... So that's the guest lecturer program. I mean, we get quite some applicants, so we need to make a decision. The decision is based on the lecture that is being offered. It's also a bit strategic, so for us it's also kind of a vehicle to nurture and to grow partnerships with other institutions. So, for example, if you go here, if you scroll down, I try to get this going as soon as possible. So we're now talking summer term 2017, which starts in March. We will have Milena from University of Nottingham, Mayred from Ireland, the Institute of Technology doing formal specification. Probably David Skelton will come from EIT again. We might have a Finnish guest lecture, maybe one from Malaysia, so we are more or less full with 5 people. But it's a standing program. I mean, you never know what happens to budgets, but it's a standing program. The government is in favor of that, so it will be around for some time. Yeah. Okay.